Welcome to the Play It By Ear podcast.
Wait a minute, I'm confused. This is the Your Brain on Facts feed, but those aren't facts, and this isn't Moxie. Well, the good news is you're not going crazy. It's April Fool's Day, which means Operation Switcheroo, where dozens of podcasters trade RSS feeds for the day, in what to my mind is the only acceptable April Fool's prank. So enjoy this episode of Play It By Ear, where hosts Aric, Brady, and Todd talk about their memories of classic commercials, embarrassing moments from their personal lives, and movie quotes that stand the test of time. For my money, there can be only one. Follow them at playitbyearpodcast.com, and be sure you tune in to Your Brain on Facts, which is not a thing people do anymore, but make sure you check out next Tuesday's regular episode because it's not a regular episode. It is the episode 150 Fast Fact Guest Host Extravaganza.
The podcast where the topics may vary because, hey, we play it by ear. And now your hosts, Aric Fiskus, Brady Liming, and Todd Griffin.
Welcome to episode number 5 of the Play It By Ear podcast. How do you like our intro? Because you're hearing it right now under my voice. Thank you to Matt Vaughn. I know we had mentioned that in a prior episode. It wasn't there due to some editing issues, but now you heard it in episode 4. This is episode 5. Hope you enjoyed it. He did a lot of intense work on that. So, again, thank you to Matt.
Mr. Smooth Voice Matt.
Absolutely.
He does have the silken voice.
He does. His voice is much better than mine, so
mine as well.
give him his due. Again, welcome to the Play It By Ear podcast. Follow us. Our outlets are growing exponentially by the day. We are on Spotify. Overcast was our most recent one. iHeartRadio, you can hear us on there, among others. Also, Google Podcast, yes. Anchor.fm/ Play It By Ear podcast is our homepage. We're also on Facebook. Search us out on Play It By Ear podcast. Also on Twitter at Play It By Ear pod 2. And any of those outlets you can find our link to our podcasts.
I would also like to say thank you again. We're just really humbled by the amount of people that are listening to our first 3-4 episodes, and we really appreciate it. Keep on sending the comments. Keep on sharing. We really like those shares, and we like the love. So the more you like us, the more we can do this.
And I guess we're building a little bit of a cult following among people who have depraved senses of humor like ours. With that, the way this works, as always, each of us bring a topic to the table, and we'll talk about that topic for 20 minutes, and we'll move on. So we're back to Todd starting us off, and I didn't give you a proper welcome. Welcome, Todd.
Good afternoon, Fiskus.
Welcome, Brady.
Good afternoon, Aric.
So, Todd, Mr. Griffin, you're up.
All right, so I thought I would start today with the topic of classic commercials or jingles that maybe you remember from your childhood, or they could be more recent ones. And there are a few that I have in my head, and I'm sure you guys have even more to add to that. But what brought this up was today, I believe it was a text message from Fiskus, and I can't remember the context of the text message. It doesn't really matter, but I started thinking about the Arby's commercials, and I know there's been lots of them, but this would have been back with the 4 for $4.
Right.
Not 5 for $5, right? Were they ever 5 for $5? The
I believe at one point they were actually 5 for $5.
The roast beasts, were they ever 5 for $5?
Roasted beast.
With cheddar. Beast with cheddar. Yeah, I think it was a 5 for $5 at one time.
And I think this topic will probably call for some very poor impersonations, so we apologize in advance.
We're not sorry.
I'm no Rich Little.
There's a blast from the past.
I can't think of any modern day
mimicry
impersonation
comedians.
artists.
I can't either.
But what got me thinking about it was the classic Ray Charles Arby's commercial where they tried some tomfoolery with old Ray and tried to only give him 3 sandwiches. And I remember him in his retort of, "Hey, wait, I only smelled 3 sandwiches. You can't fool old Ray." And so that's what brought this topic about.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that one. They just couldn't do that commercial today, could they?
Well, I don't know. It would be questionable, I guess. Let's just say.
Yes, I'm a big Ray Charles fan, though, so
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that was a good choice to pick him for the Arby's commercials.
Man, that got me to thinking, like, were they just trying to, like, what was their point? Why were they trying to fool Ray? You paid this man millions of dollars to hawk your product, so you in turn try to trick him, and it's like,
They learned their lesson that day.
That's right. You would
Ray put them back in their place.
Yes, because, well, whatever it says about Arby's, he definitely went to Pepsi and did "You Are the Right One, Baby."
Ooh,
Yeah, there
nice.
you go. Nice play there. I'd forgotten about that one too.
Yeah,
Well, that also
That was
makes me
huge for
think-
a while.
Yeah,
it was huge.
that makes me think also about the fact that you could once get 4 roast beasts for $4.
Now you can't even get one for $4.
Probably not.
Yeah. Weren't we just talking about this the other day? I mean, I love me some Arby's, but like, it costs a fortune just for me to get one sandwich, a drink, and fries. It's almost a 10 spot. Not like that's a.
If you're listening, Arby's, we still love your food, so just want to let you know that.
You could
You
know,
can bring
be one of
back
our
the 4 for
sponsors.
4.
Yeah, bring back the 4 for $4, and I guess I'll do the Ray impersonation if you want to hire me.
My fear would be if they brought back the 4 for $4, it would be with like one slice of roast beast and on a tiny little slider about the size of a quarter.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, they do
Well,
have sliders now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very good sliders. I am a fan of and this is going off topic, which is I tend to do, but I am a fan of the sandwiches that are on the King Hawaiian buns or whatever.
Oh yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
Sweet buns.
Sweet buns.
My kiddo Ridge loves.
Just happened to be my nickname back in high school as well.
Yes.
According to who?
Me.
Oh man.
Another commercial that I remember fondly, the Dunkin Donuts commercials with the time to make the donuts.
Yep.
I can't,
He was the balding gentleman who got up at 3 a.m. time to make
yes.
the donuts,
Yes.
which has kind of become a saying, like people going to work, time
Yeah.
to make the donuts. It still kind of hangs on in the...
or
pop
just
culture.
anything. I mean, anything you're going to accomplish.
Yeah.
Sometime of drudgery, like if you're like, can you use it like if you have to go mow the lawns, like time to go make the donuts?
You
Does that
could.
apply there?
You could.
Yeah.
And any work that needs done, time to make the donuts.
Very good. I'd forgotten about that one. Yeah.
Try it. Try using it at home around the house when you have to go to the restroom and see what that.
Well,
There are various other ways to say that, but
lots of
Man, I've
euphemisms.
just finished my 3rd coffee. Time to make the donuts.
time to recycle the coffee.
Oh my.
You got Wendy's.
Oh my.
Where's the beef?
Where's the beef?
Where's beef?
Where's the
Clara Peller.
only
Remember them?
Fiscus would remember that name of that.
Again, yeah.
For those of you unfamiliar with the commercial, it showed these 3 elderly ladies in line, and they're given this huge, oversized bun about the size of a manhole cover with here's this reference again, a quarter-size piece of hamburger, and she was lamenting the lack of buffery on her bun.
Well, the other ladies were talking to, well, that's not a very big burger. And then Clara would chime in, where's the beef?
Yeah,
That was good.
She was a crotchety.
She was. And she wouldn't look at the camera, wouldn't look at the guy behind the counter. She went, where's the beef?
And that was,
You can look it up on YouTube. I'm sure it's there.
Oh, it's there. And
Any of these commercials, I'm sure you can find them on YouTube if you don't.
Absolutely. And that stuck around in, pop culture. For Pete's sake, it made it to presidential campaigns.
It did.
Because, if you lack the details in your plans, where's the beef? I mean, that got
Was
to
that
be...
Reagan that said that? Or did someone say it to Reagan?
It was obviously one or the other, but yeah, that's definitely what I'm thinking of. It would made it into the presidential campaign. There was T-shirts. You could get "Where's the Beef" T-shirts.
I believe that was that a Super Bowl commercial? I'm thinking it might have been.
It might have been. For you researchers out there, get in your Google machine and hold us accountable.
Yeah. Let us also, going back to the description of that commercial with the giant bun and the tiny
Burger
Patty.
brick of beef in this bun, remind me of the opposite of that, Brady. A quick story we were talking about the other day when Butterbees first opened.
Oh,
Butterbees,
man.
I don't know if you're listening, Butterbees, delicious food. We recommend going there. But the first time we ever went, they had just opened, and Brady and I went, and I ordered the fish sandwich. And when the waitress brought it out, I apologize this day because Brady and I both just busted out laughing, falling off the table laughing, because to this day I've never seen so much fish or any type of sandwich.
Overlapping the bun.
Yes.
Oh my gosh! And the jokes is like, man, you're gonna need a gaff hook to get that on the table.
Yeah.
We're going to need a bigger boat.
I mean, I guarantee you, 7 to 8 inches of fish all the way around the bun, hanging off the bun.
It was like putting Jaws on a hot dog bun.
Yeah.
Don't talk about sharks around Todd.
They're inhuman.
They are inhuman.
Yeah, it just was. Sorry, I just brought that. I remember
no,
that.
it's okay. That was a large fish sandwich.
Fist.
They've gotten it under control since then. It's still a good sized fish sandwich and a very
Is that a
tasty
good
fish
thing
sandwich.
though? Do you want a fish sandwich?
But that's what I mean. They've gotten it more manageable now, because before, I mean, there was just not enough bun. You'd have to bring your own loaf of bread to finish off the fish.
Or you had to eat around the bun with a fork.
Oh, I mean, it was almost an unintentional handle because the bun was so small. You would have to pinch it just to eat this massive fish.
And you have to listen to our previous episodes to get these inside and handle things.
Which I hope is motivation to check out our back catalog.
There you go.
An episode, was that an episode 2 or 3?
They run together because I edit them all, and I believe it's 3.
But they're all awesome.
I believe it was 4. The
But
handle one.
it
It's
could be.
3. It's
3, yeah.
Check out episode 3 to learn about Brady's handles.
If I may throw down a commercial jingle that sticks in my mind, is I've used this so many times. Do you remember the cavity creeps from Crest?
We make holes in teeth.
Thank you, Aric. I still say that to this day, much like it's time to make the donuts. Whenever it's time for me to go do something, I'll go, we make holes in teeth, like the cavity creeps or the Crest commercials. Still do it. And the cavity creeps kind of look like little rock nasty things that were attacking your healthy enamel. And the Crest team would, blast them away with their Crest blasters, which appealed to my comic book sense of morality and justice. So yeah, cavity creep's bad, but yeah, who doesn't say we make holes in teeth these days?
Yeah, but we were in their intended audience with that commercial at the time.
I mean, I'm sure they were.
Do you remember the cavity creeps?
I don't think so. I'm going to have to YouTube it later.
Oh, you will have to, because it was great. It had a lot of backstory, because they had a command center, and it showed that there was an attack on their second molar, and it would show up that this a dentist thing, and they would have to go to that tooth and fight off that
very
cavity.
video game-ish.
Very much so. Very much so. In fact, the Crest people, you should bring the cavity creeps out of retirement and make a educational video game out of it.
Are there still toothpaste commercials on TV?
I don't know.
Silence. I don't know.
I don't watch enough.
I would assume they are, but
I don't watch enough network TV to know. To know.
Yeah,
about the commercial.
it's a good
game.
question.
well, maybe the game designer in the room could make a game about cavity creeps.
There we go.
At first, I thought you were talking about, what was the commercial? It was a cleaning product that had the little
Scrubbing bubbles.
scrubbing bubbles. Yeah,
Scrubby bubbles,
That's
yeah.
what I thought you were talking about
Yeah.
first. Didn't they just kind of go out and about and do that?
They did.
And they cleaned.
Yes.
And then they cleaned.
like a robo vacuum does now.
And one of the lead, I guess you could call the General Bubble, had a mustache.
General bubble.
Do you have a
Not-
robo vacuum?
Yes.
Do you use it?
Yeah.
And no problems with it?
No.
I've told you the reason
Other than it gets stuck under furniture.
Yeah. Well, my wife has asked for one of those before. She's talked about getting one before, and I read a story on the internet that keeps me from it. You've probably heard the story where in the middle of the night this family had bought one. They had gotten a new puppy, and the puppy had gone to the bathroom on
Had
the
some
floor.
intestinal distress.
Conducted its commerce on the
set you
floor.
up for that, Brady. But the Rotovac went through it, trekked through the dog pile, and then spread it all over the house and the
like
carpet.
a poop crayon.
Yeah,
Well,
pretty
that
much.
only happens when you schedule it to go out. You can do that manually, and it won't. I mean, you can make sure everything is clear before. it goes on its way. But
Yeah.
some people set it to like vacuum at 3 a.m, and then you run into that possibility.
Yeah, because this poor soul had, it had gone all over the carpet. And then the kid had got like a toddler had woken up and walked through it, and then climbed up in bed with it. It was an absolute nightmare. And I'm like, no, I can't get on board with this.
Man, that's disturbing to even think about, and especially in my house. If I get the cat or the dog is dyspeptic.
A real rabbit hole there.
Yeah, but so cavity creeps. Getting this back out of the rabbit hole and onto the highway. Now this one, and this is going to be real specific. Anybody that remembers the Donato's pizza commercial from about 1989, 1990, and I was a freshman at Ohio State, and Donato's wasn't as big of a deal in Southern Ohio, but oh my Lord, this haunts me to this day. And it wasn't the commercial itself; it was the jingle, and it would earworm. And it kind of went like this. It went wah, 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 over and over and over again. And that commercial played on a loop because, Donato's was a Columbus company. And I will still hear that in my sleep, break out in cold sweats, grab the steel helmet, and jump in the trench. It's like, it's horrible. So, commercial that haunts me.
I don't remember that. I do like some Donato's.
I do.
Had Donato's spread down here by that time?
It wasn't too long after, but I'm sure that commercial kept them out of many markets.
So that brings up an interesting question, because that seems to be where I'm going to go with this in my mind. Do marketers think about, we're going to make this commercial? Obviously, commercials are intended to sell products, but sometimes do they make them purposely annoying so they get entrenched in your head? Does that make you want to go purchase? Because to me, if a commercial is annoying, no. I don't want your product. I will purposely avoid your product.
You mean it could be the best product for that particular task ever?
And I don't care.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, my opinion is that I think they definitely try that. I don't know if it's successful or not, but I think they try to make it memorable. So then when you're in the store, whatever is calling it back to you, whatever you're remembering about it might make you purchase it.
I'm hungry. Oh yeah.
How much Donato's did you buy at that time?
Honestly, next to none. I just ate.
Was it because of the commercial?
Not really. It was because there were some local pizza places that were much quicker to walk to and much cheaper, like Gumby's. Throw back an old school one. But I like Donato's. But
so if you had a Donato's right beside your apartment,
I would not have gone.
You would not have gone.
I will stand beside that one. Yes.
And that's where I am with it.
But I'd be willing to bet that anyone who came to visit you who weren't subject to those daily commercial or that daily jingle probably would have loved to have had some Donato's because
absolutely, it's excellent pizza.
Yeah, if you're listening, Mr. Donato's,
we will sponsor you as long as you don't do that jingle. I can be paid to sing it though.
You just did.
I
for
did.
free.
Were there any words?
No. It was a little kid in a beanie with a propeller on it that would move around in stop motion animation.
How
to
was
that
it again?
Song.
We got to put some words to that. We really want Donato's,
but we won't buy it because we're annoyed.
Yeah.
No matter how hungry we are. No, that was bad.
That's why we talk and we don't sing.
Exactly. So, I guess it's my turn now. And again, in my mind, I'm going to go this direction of commercials that annoy me more so than maybe memorable. I guess they're memorable because they're annoying. And I will go current times with this. Liberty. I'm going to speak directly to Liberty Mutual Insurance right now.
Liberty Mutual, pull up a chair.
Yeah. Your Limu, Emu, and Doug commercials are, I will never, ever, ever, I don't care what price you give me, purchase your insurance, ever, until those commercials are removed. And insurance companies seem to be rather egregious at this because I don't like Flo either from Progressive.
I thought you met from
Alice.
From Alice.
Kiss my grits, Aric. That's a whole other topic.
As my dog would say, kiss my wiener dog grits. She doesn't actually say that,
No,
but
no, I was going to say, if she says that, you could get rich off of that. No, I do have Progressive insurance, so Flo is not as annoying to me as to not purchase their insurance, but I will never purchase Liberty Mutual insurance while those commercials are running.
Ring, ring, Mr. Fiscus. This is Liberty Mutual. We
No.
will give you free
Click.
house insurance for this.
I will slam my cell phone, even though it will not have the same effect.
That's pretty strong.
Episode 1, right?
episode 1 throwback,
Episode one,
callback,
throwback.
shout back. What do we call that? Throwback?
Throwback.
Callback.
Sure, why not? So, Liberty Mutual, what do those commercials even mean? What's the Limu emo? Okay, I get the alliteration there. It's usually a Brady thing, but I guess Liberty Mutual did it. That's fine. They're running around in their little insurance police car doing what? I mean, I don't get it.
I don't know that I've seen these commercials. I got to watch more.
Oh man, you
Didn't they used to have a jangle of their own? No. Liberty Mutual. No, that was that.
Liberty.
Liberty. Yeah.
Well, and they do another commercial. There's a whole other genre of commercials that they do with the guy that can't do his lines. Liberty boobadoo. Liberty boobadoo.
No, they have like
But what if I want my bibidoo protected?
Well, what?
they have like this kind of genre of commercial where they like interview random people. It's not just that one guy.
Well, they had this guy who was supposed to be an actor. He's a real suave guy, Rico Suave.
Edward from Twilight, basically.
Okay, yeah, Edward from Twilight, says the teenager back there. Okay, I got it. So, this guy trying to do his lines, he can't do his lines because he's apparently too dumb to do his lines. He keeps messing them up, so they voice over someone doing the lines, and his mouth is moving, saying the wrong things, but the voiceover is saying the right things, with the Statue of Liberty in the background. That's a Liberty Mutual commercial as well. So they got the Limu, Emu, and Doug over here, and then this guy over there, and their marketing is all over the place, and it's all annoying. So
That doesn't seem to be a good combo.
no, I wouldn't think so. It's not to me. It does not bring me in.
All of the insurance commercials are kind of running together in my head. Who is the deep voice? Are you in good hands? The deep voice guy.
From
Allstate.
Major League.
Really?
Serrano, Pedro Serrano from Major League.
Is
That's
that-
who that is.
really?
Yes.
Up your butt, Joe Boo.
Yes. No.
No,
Well,
yeah.
He had Joe Boo.
He had Joe Boo, yes.
Yes.
Now that you mention it, this insurance commercial thing, one of my students last week, right before we went off on our break, I guess I was wearing a pair of khakis and a red shirt and tie, and it took me a second. He said, "You look like Jake from State Farm," and I had no idea what he was talking about and had to look it up.
See, those are kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would buy State Farm.
What were you wearing, Jake, from State Farm?
Khakis.
Oh, now I remember. Yeah. Okay, that just cued
So
it
now
in.
they have another commercial where the guy's talking to a different guy and says, "What do you?" Well, the wife comes. "What are you wearing?" Steve from State Farm. I can't remember the guy's name. Then the guy turns across the cubicle and says, "Do they ask what you're wearing?" And the guy from the original commercial says, "Yeah, go with it."
Yeah.
What is the
okay.
commercial? What is the insurance that's the da 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 da?
Liberty Mutual Insurance.
That's
That's
Liberty.
back when their
Okay,
the commercials were not annoying.
Yes.
They decided to go with this other ad agency that obviously makes annoying commercials.
I also remember the American Family
That's what it
Insurance.
was.
Oh, that's what
American
it was.
Family. That's what
Yeah,
I was trying
American
to think of.
Family, yeah.
We're out of time on this topic, but I thought we could hit a couple real quick just to maybe bring back some memories for people. Obviously, the Pepsi had the Diet Pepsi with Michael J. Fox and regular Pepsi with Michael Jackson, which I believe it was on the set of that commercial that Michael Jackson caught his hair on fire.
Yes, it
Correct.
is.
And the final two, the Tootsie Roll Pop with Mr. Owl.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
How many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Roll Pop?
1, 2, 3.
Was it
3.
two that way? Wasn't it two?
Now you forgot to you forgot to roll your it was 2
Three. Was it a roll?
3
Three.
3.
Yeah, I remember that now. And then Folgers, obviously. Everybody
Good to the
remember-
last drop.
Good to the last drop, but you had the
Mrs. Olson. No, was
Best-
she Mac? No, she was.
best
she
part
was
of waking
Folgers.
up. Remember
Oh,
that?
yes.
The
Best
best part of waking
Yeah.
is Folgers in your...
We're doing too much singing. We're gonna drive people away from this podcast.
We're
Where they'll
singing.
flock to
We're
it.
singing for comedy value, not for...
Well,
we're not trying to
We're
impress
probably
anyone.
achieving that.
All right, good topic.
Yes,
Good topic.
It was my topic. I didn't mean to brag on it.
Brady.
All right. Well, we're going to bring you hopefully an amusing, slightly awkward and uncomfortable topic, but these are some of your very memorable, embarrassing moments or embarrassing situations you found yourself in. And, you know, I don't know what made me think of this, but it just came rushing back, and it's like, I'm going to have to tell the guys about this one. So I'll kind of get it started just to kind of like set the vibe for the embarrassing moments. But the one that stands out in my mind, and I get embarrassed even retelling the story, but I used to be terrified of dolls with teeth. My sister had a Chrissy doll, and you could see her.
Hey, who is Chrissy?
Chrissy, I
like
don't.
From Three's Company, Chrissy?
No, it would have predated that, but it was just called the Chrissy doll, I guess. And but she had a prominent smile where you could see her teeth. And
Was it actual teeth, or was it just like a gaping mouth that's white in the middle there?
I never got close enough to investigate it because it terrified me, but I'm guessing it was just painted white. And it scared me to death. And she had another doll that had teeth. So I was always saying, no smiles, because I was I would say about 3 or 4, but it carried with me for a while.
You had a traumatic childhood.
I did. This should say a
the
lot
things
about
you
me.
said in the last few episodes, your childhood
Yeah,
is...
this harkens back to the phobia.
Yeah, I had a great childhood, but, I guess some
Or do you
traumas.
have some
deep-seated
feelings?
issues. But I would used to have a recurring dream that these dolls would chase me and bite me. But my sister and her friends, great big sister, dealt with annoying little brother and was very patient about it. But when they wanted to finally get me to take my leave of their fun, we had the basement downstairs, so they would send me up on an errand. And
so her and her friends were in cahoots.
Oh, they were definitely in cahoots. And they would put the Chrissy doll after I went upstairs at the top of the step, knowing that I would not cross this doom evil doll. And
the Maginot Line.
Yes, it was the Maginot Line. It was the Berlin Wall of fear. I would not cross that doll. I would not breach it. Because, you know what? This does kind of tie into the phobia thing, but I'm so glad that Child's Play did not come out of my childhood.
I was getting ready to make a Child's Play connection there.
But, it was embarrassing. But the thing is, it's true. I was only afraid of the ones with the dolls with teeth. So that's kind of an embarrassing thing that I would get my chops busted out a little bit. And this next one, oh, man, this is almost cathartic bringing this up, but probably one of my most embarrassing moments is we were on our way on vacation in the 18-foot Shasta RV. It was, for those of you not knowing, it was not a big RV. It was a diminutive RV. It was small, closed quarters. And
there's an RV, Clark.
There you go.
That's our third topic.
That's our third topic coming. But anyway, this particular trip to Florida for family vacation bliss, I happened to be a little bit banged up. I had torn my ACL in a dirt bike accident, don't ask, and I had a straight cast on where my leg, like it was a straight cast where there was no bend in the knee. It was kind of like a peg leg, just straight as it'll go, and kept me from many enjoyments like riding rides down to Disney World. But anyway, on this long trip to Florida, the one thing you always looked forward to was Atlanta, because you get to see the stadium, you get to the hustle and bustle, and it was kind of a landmark. You knew you were on vacation once you crossed Atlanta. You were crossing into the fun zone. You were south. So, it was always a big deal. I'm anticipating Atlanta. And then it happens. After a fast food lunch, some intestinal distress starts setting in, and it was unavoidable. So if you've ever been in an RV facility, it's small. It's plastic. It does not offer much privacy, and that's with the door shut. Well, because of my straight cast, I could not shut the door, and so I had to leave my leg hanging out. And unfortunately, and by the way, my friends, there is a name for this story. I'm not giving you the spoiler, but it's called the Great Atlanta Run.
Great Atlanta Runs?
The Great Atlanta Run. And but unfortunately, because the door was open and it was severe distress, and it exposed my whole poor family, and just the fact that I'm a private person about such things, and
You have to go into the sound effects.
yeah, well, do you really want me to?
Well, no, just describe the situation. You've described the room.
Yes.
Okay, for those of you unfamiliar with an RV restroom, it is not like a toilet in a restroom on regular land, non-mobile. There's no water, so it's plastic that has a hatch, and then the refuse.
Like an airplane.
Yeah, like an airplane, and it goes into a chemical pit, a chemical toilet.
And then later it's emptied.
Yes, and then you empty it when you get to the campground, and then you empty your refuse. And but because there is no water, I guess the best way to describe it would be somebody unleashing a bag of marbles on a plastic tub. And it was horrible, and it was embarrassing, and it haunted me for years. I mean, I was mortified. I just wanted to, crawl up in the corner in shame, but I couldn't even do that because my leg was straight because of the cast. I couldn't even crawl up in a ball, so...
And that's how the RV earned earned the name Shasta, because when your dad smelled it, holy Shasta, what's that?
Yes, I'm sure they probably had to pull it over in downtown Atlanta traffic, and... oh man, like I said, to 13-year-old me, I was traumatized and humiliated, and you know how you are when you're a middle schooler anyway. Everything is dramatized.
Did the windows all go down? And
if there were any left, it was
windows left?
Yeah,
it was that bad, huh?
It was just like I said, everything about this was just a horrifically embarrassing, humiliating circumstance.
It was then you found out how much your family loves you.
Yes, because they let me continue on the trip. Absolutely, without
All right, I have a...
strapping me to the top.
They crossed some eating locations off the list at that point.
Yep,
I have
definitely.
a little TMI question, but if your leg was fixed, straight out, and you had a cast on, and that's how you had to position yourself to pop this particular squat, how did you... Did someone have to tend to you afterwards, or
No. It's just my leg was.
Hand you a
good
spray bottle or
Lord,
something?
I wasn't.
the old
I had my
bidet.
hillbilly bidet?
No, I was fully functional, arms, legs. Now, what I did? Oh gosh, you know what, Todd? You just triggered a memory that I'd forgotten about. I actually had to take the ice cooler out and put it on the floor so I could rest my foot on it. I had to put my straight leg on top of the ice cooler.
So you're in a reclined position.
Which they say that is the best position to do your business anyway, is to have your feet up on a stool.
Squatting.
It's a stool.
Did they sell those? They're called squatty potties.
Squatty
Yeah.
potties, yeah.
Yeah.
So
not that we wanted to know that, but anyway, that was my embarrassing moment. Haunts me to this day. Absolutely.
Me first or you first? I'll go.
You go ahead.
I take great pains in my life to make sure I don't end up in embarrassing situations, but sometimes obviously they're unavoidable, as yours was unavoidable. The one that comes to my mind, which maybe started out as an embarrassing situation, but kind of put me in heroic status for a while. Sometimes in elementary school, something just doesn't agree with you, and you're at school and you can't really go anywhere. And everyone's at recess, and I didn't go out to recess, and I'd had some peanut butter and jelly for lunch, and the peanut butter and jelly ended up all over. I think we were sitting in kind of little pod-ish sort.
Like four desks pushed together.
Yeah. So not only on my desk, but other desks. And
so you threw up.
I threw up. Yeah.
Oh.
I vomited.
Yeah.
And at Sardinia Elementary at the time, the fourth grade classrooms were in their own modular. It was like a brick building, but it was separate from the rest of the building.
2 classrooms.
2 classrooms, yes. So what elevated me to heroic status, as I said, everyone else was at recess. The stench was so bad from the vomit that no one could come back into the building. So everyone got extra recess because of my misfortune.
There wasn't enough sawdust in North America.
No vamos, scrub.
Noble Hardyman took care of it.
Yeah, us all being educators will all tell you that the custodians are the heroes
absolutely.
of any school building, and
they don't question it.
No.
It's like, okay, clean up. No. We have a cleanup. Okay.
I'm glad we got to hear a Noble Hardyman. I'm
reference.
sure he saved the day. I'm sure he did the best he could.
But a bus driver and a custodian, full time in both. I don't think he could do that today. But yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think the culprit of the pungentness of the aroma?
I don't know. Like I said, I know it was peanut butter and jelly because there were. I won't describe the contents, but
what flavor jelly? It could matter. It could make a difference. In
Strawberry or grape?
I'm thinking grape.
See, I would think strawberry would tend to leave more of an acidic smell.
Yeah.
I can definitely vouch for the heroic status because we saw poor Aric sitting there with his head down in repose on his desk, miserable and sick. We literally, bunches of us, like we would pop our heads up because they had the windows open so the foulness could escape. And I remember us, and there was not a bit of meanness. This was true adulation that we popped our heads in the windows like, thanks, Aric, because we got like 20 extra minutes recess, and we kind of was cheers like, thanks, man. And do you remember receiving accolades?
You weren't even in my room. You were in the other room.
It was, let's us be clear that it was so bad that it cleared out both rooms in the modular. Yeah.
You know, that's something as an educator that I don't deal with very well. So my first rule of the year to all my students is we don't throw up in the classroom. And obviously, I know that it can't be helped at times, but I'm very lucky so far. I've had 2 students throw up in the classroom, and I wasn't in the room for either one of them. One of them I was standing at the door, and they were in the line to leave, so I didn't have to see it. And another one was they were the last one in the line. They threw up in the garbage can. But I had a sub one day who had a poor student throw up and pretty much splattered the entire front of the classroom, including all over the sub's person, including it got on their leg.
Did she ever come back, or he ever come back?
No, she did. She's a fantastic sub, but that was meant for me. That splatter was meant for me, and
and you avoided it.
I avoided it. Yes.
I get to speak for myself. You know, the flu bug was pretty bad this year in my building, but I had 3 garbage can barfers just this year alone, so I'm hitting above average this year.
Yeah. Todd?
Embarrassing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have...
Hopefully.
Well...
That's the topic.
One of these, I'm afraid that anyone who sees me from now will just look at me completely differently, so please keep in mind that I was young.
Anyone who knows you won't look at you any differently.
I have 3, and I'm going to do them in chronological order.
Okay.
The first one, I was in 3rd grade, and maybe this was, I guess, you know, I'm not a person who, I consider myself shy, and then when I say that to people, they laugh at me because I'm very talkative. But at first, I'm shy, and then once I know you, you know,
then all bets are off.
Yeah, but this might have been a precursor to maybe my future of entertaining, you know, being on stage and playing music and stuff. But I was in the restroom, and there were some other people in the restroom with me, and I was trying to make them laugh. So I put my finger in my nose, and I started singing, "This is the way we pick our nose, pick our nose, pick our nose. This is the way we pick our nose so early in the morning." I thought it was funny. And
to an 8-year-old,
yes. Yeah, yes, maybe not overly original, but...
Speak for yourself, I'm laughing.
So anyway, someone was a tattletale and went and told on me and told my teacher. And my punishment was I had to perform the song in front of the entire class. So now it wasn't just some of my buddies; it was girls.
Right.
You know, so instead of 4 or 5 people, it was a class of I don't know how many we had, 20, 25. That I had to stand in front of the classroom. Couldn't just stand at my desk.
Absolutely.
Stand in front of the classroom, insert my finger in my nose, and sing it again. So that was pretty terrifying.
And again, it was a different time.
It was a different time.
That brings up 2 burning questions. One, you just mentioned it. It's like, wow, you know, could you do that today? And the second question is, wow, aren't you lucky you weren't picking your rear end?
That doesn't go with the jingle very well. This is the way.
That could have gone either direction as far as you standing in front of the class and doing this, or You could have been paddled for that, or both.
Yeah, I was
back
paddled
then.
I was paddled
while picking your nose.
Well, yes.
I was
while picking
paddled.
your nose.
I think I was paddled in the 3rd grade. I got the paddle the first few years of school, but I don't think I got the paddle for that one. And I don't think you could do that now. Although, in looking back, it didn't. I mean, I was embarrassed at the time, but it didn't bother me. I mean,
Well, you're still talking
I still
about it.
remember it. True, but
It stuck with
you
you.
know. I think it's because it was a catchy little song. That's why I still remember it. But the next time, 5th grade. And I was not someone in 5th grade who wetted myself. I mean, it wasn't like an ongoing problem, but there was one day in class in 5th grade that I had a bad habit of when I had to go to the restroom. I was so afraid to miss out on anything that I would try to hold it. And I still do that as far as not wanting to miss out. I fight sleep still as an adult because I'm afraid I'm going to miss something. I was always the kid who, if there was a sleepover, I was the last one to go to sleep because I didn't want to miss out on
You
anything.
never want to be the first one to go to sleep.
Exactly, yeah.
Didn't want to miss the thing.
So I had to use the restroom and was holding it. Well, I ended up peeing my pants. And I was panicking because I'm sitting there, and we were out in the back the two buildings in the back of Serenity Elementary. Not what they called those, but the 2 separate classrooms in the separate building.
Well, that's the ones we were talking about.
You
We were in 4th
okay,
grade.
yeah. So this was before they brought in the trailers and things like
Right.
that. So the first thing I thought I would do is tip my chair and fall backwards to get. So it made sense in my head. So I did that. I thought, okay, how do I do this without actually cracking my skull open? And so I tipped my chair backwards and
Or
fell.
splashing urine on yourself.
Yes, and which in hindsight, it drew more attention to me. But at least I said, okay, I have to go to the bathroom. Like the teacher, I think, was more sympathetic. Go to the bathroom, make sure you're okay. So I go to the bathroom. I kind of turn sideways and walk to the bathroom. And if you remember, there was a restroom between
Right.
Both of those 2 classrooms, the 4th
Right.
and 5th grade classrooms. So I'm in the bathroom. I'm panicking. I mean, it was noticeable that my pants were wet. So I instantly I turned the sink on and started like just splashing water all over myself. And got it
camouflage.
all over my shirt, all over my pants, and I put it on my face and my hair and stuff. And I told my teacher that I just got real hot all of a sudden, and that I had to put cold water on myself to cool down. And
Your pre-planning
Yes.
just doesn't get any better.
Exactly. So I think I pulled off. Well, I'm sure if you were to ask this wonderful teacher that I had, and very sweet teacher, I'm sure she knew it. But at least in my head, I pulled it off. There wasn't much I could do to cover up the smell, I don't guess, but at least the wet spot was now hidden.
Explainable.
I was drenched from the sink water.
Yeah.
And then my third one, I was a little older, and I had been sick. I had a bout of stomach issues,
Intestinal
distress, and this is embarrassing to even talk about it now. Not to you guys because you've heard this before, but to anyone listening. My cousin was over, and we were playing. We played outside for a while. Then it got dark, and we came in. This was the summer, and we came inside. And once again, this time something made me laugh, and I had an accident. Let's just say this one wasn't.
You darn near soiled yourself, Brooks.
This one wasn't. This one wasn't in the
movie
front. This one wasn't in the front. It was a number 2 accident, if I can be. And I mean. Again, I'd been sick. I'd just gotten over it. I apparently wasn't over it. I laughed, I guess too rapidly, and it just happened. And I was panicking. I didn't know what to do. I didn't tell my cousin. So I'm like,
Now, when was this again?
this would have been probably middle school. I mean, a couple years later. And so I gotta go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom, and I remove my clothing and my underclothing, and I didn't know what to do. So I was afraid I'd get in trouble if not to my parents, but I would have been fine. But in my head, I'm like, I got to do something rather than just throw my
Soiled underdrawers.
my undergarments away. I got the bright idea. I was wearing a hat,
Oh no.
and so I thought I got to get these out of the house. So I balled up my underwear, and I folded them just so where they would be, safe to touch on the outside, and I put them under my hat. Put them on my head. I put my hat down on them, and so I go ask my cousin, like, "Hey, you want to go outside? You want to go?" There were woods across the street, and he's like, "Nah, I don't go outside. It's dark." So I'm like, "Well, I got to run outside real quick." So I go through the living room and out the front door. and I run across the street into the woods and throw my underwear in the woods. And
so there's a big picture.
I haven't
window.
seen him since.
It's a big picture window in your living room of your house.
Yes.
So you don't think anyone saw you running across?
They might have seen me run into the woods, but I went deep enough as to not,
Aren't you glad you didn't encounter a bear?
I don't know. But so if that ever happens to you and you're looking for a good way to dispose of soiled garments.
A good way?
I washed my hair later.
How much later?
Truly,
I was in middle school, so probably at least 3 or 4 days later.
I've heard of people keeping it under their hat, but this is a whole new level. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And you even left the property in return unnoticed. That's amazing. Kudos.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Very good.
See, growing up playing in the woods was beneficial for things like that.
Catching little snakes and throwing your soiled underwear away.
Oh, wow. Aric, I think you're on deck next with the topic.
I am. My topic is movie quotes that you hear and you immediately know what movie they're from, or I guess the kind of the angle you can take with this, are there movies that you quote in your daily life with regularity?
Oh, yeah.
So, and there are so many. We talked about one the other day with Major League. I mean, Major League is just infinitely quotable, and it's the spring training portion of the season where most of the quotes happen. And I gave you the one the other day about "Dorn, you owe lay that ball one more time. You owe me 10 push-ups."
How many times did you actually use that in baseball practices when you were coach?
I had a few, and it was just to amuse myself and my coaches, because I mean the kids really didn't get it, but which is sad to me, because that's a movie that to me really stands the test of time.
It should be shared.
It should be shared.
I think I say "up your butt, Jobu" quite a bit, actually. Typically, it's when I stub my toe, or because growing up, my dad wasn't much of a cursor, and when he cursed, it was usually because he hurt himself, stepping on the toy, stubbing his toe. And I think maybe not when I hurt myself, but when I'm struggling with something, if I'm trying to, open something that I can't, "up your butt, Jobu."
Oh, that's a great quote.
Major League, to me, Fletch, one of my favorite movies ever. A lot of quotes there. And Chevy Chase, in any number of his movies. Caddyshack, we talked about the other day. Yeah. The quote, "Don't sell yourself short, Judge. You're a tremendous slouch."
Oh, and when you talk about Fletch, how many times have we done the, "So I said, what are you doing? Some stunt flying?" You can't see his face. We'll have to put a picture of his face when he makes that sound, but yes.
Did they ever redo Fletch? They were talking about it with Jason
Lee. I have an answer to that.
Okay.
Kevin Smith, one of my favorite directors, and actually I quote a lot of his movies frequently. He bought the movie rights to all the Fletch novels, and with the express purpose, either Jason Lee or Ben Affleck would be playing Fletch, but never could get it to happen, and it got shelved. There's scripts written for it, but it just never was released. And actually, I think that was one of the things that I messaged him on his webpage, like, "Bring back Fletch, man. That'd be classic."
Did he respond?
Not yet. Not yet.
So if you're listening, Kevin Smith, if you're having Donatos,
I think Kevin Smith would enjoy our podcast.
Yeah. So. Well, and you had another one from Caddyshack too. "Who stepped on the duck?"
Or the, "I want a hamburger. I want some potato chips. I
You'll
want
have
some
nothing, and you'll like it."
There we go. We get it twice. We get to work at it twice.
Yeah. Or, "Hey, I bet you were something before electricity."
Or, "This is low-grade dog food."
Dog food.
Oh, yeah.
I think of this one often. The Howard the Duck, where I don't exactly know what's happening, but I know the girl, she says, "Howard Duck," and he says, "and proud of it." Remember that?
I do. I'm probably, you and I are probably two of the few people in the universe that were amused by that movie.
Oh, yeah. classic. If you haven't seen Howard the Duck, it does have some duck breasts in it, though. So if you're showing it to young children, make them hide their eyes.
Would that qualify as PG-13 or rated R?
And just
Actually, it was probably PG when that would have been out.
And just like that, a menu item at the Montgomery Inn becomes PG-13 because don't they serve duck breast?
I don't know. One of my favorite movie quotes I say a lot also. I say, kind of hot in these rhinos from Ace Ventura 2. And my cousin Jason, we both say it a lot. Anytime it's hot, it could be, boy, it's kind of hot in these rhinos. And it's the scene where he's in the fake rhino and he comes out of the rhino's anus.
Yes. I've got a follow-up to that. I embarrassed my family terribly a couple years ago. Was at Disney World at Disney's Animal Kingdom, and there was a rhino replica indoors. And I made she's in 8th grade now, but she would have been in about 6th grade then. And I made her take the picture. So I positioned myself to look like my head was popping out of the rhino's anus. And
you must share that picture.
I will. I'll put it on the Facebook. Just remind me. And it just made me laugh hysterically. And Reagan, bless her heart, was laughing as she was taking the picture. Well, let's just say Mom was not real pleased when she came around and found out what I was cooking. And
I would say that movie and the Pet Detective Ace Ventura movies have a lot of quotes that I stuck around for long. What was the alrighty then? Everybody said that for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And I still say like a glove if something is if I
like a glove.
Do not go in there.
Yep, still say that.
There we go. Oh man. Go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay. I find that I quote a lot of movies, but my go-tos, that it's getting to the point of embarrassment because I just do it so naturally now. I find that I start my classes off going, all right, all right, all right. From Dazed and Confused, Wooderson, Matthew McConaughey's character. I do say that. Let's see. I quote Clerks. I'm not even supposed to be here today.
At school you do that?
Yeah. Especially on a day where the weather's not good and there is no delay and we're not
Does
canceled.
anyone get it? Even the adults?
Maybe a couple, but like you said, I do it mostly for my own amusement. How about the get him a body bag?
Oh, yes.
Kid, yeah.
Do you remember the
wax on, wax off?
Do you remember the fireworks at Sardinia? Watching him behind the school, and some of us watching them and being very annoying, yelling, "Get him a body bag!" Like every time.
Yes.
Because everybody does the ooh, get him a body bag.
We always added a fourth. It was Zowie.
Zowie.
And then probably another, just real quick, Super Troopers. I find I quote that movie a lot.
Come on, meow.
Yes. License and registration, please, meow. But there was this one incident where, one of my classroom rules is you can't do like the paper launching, like basketball style. You have to walk it over because it gets to be a distraction. So a kid had done that and missed. And I went, you know what you're in trouble for? Littering and... Now, in the movie, they said smoking the reefer. But
now, what if he had come back with smoking the reefer?
I would have let him off. I would have cracked up laughing and said, "We will not speak at this moment," and sent him back to his seat. But no, so littering and launching a paper wide. And, I did that for my own amusement.
And no one got it.
Yes.
Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Very quotable, but none of which I can really say. Pyle, what is your major malfunction? That's about the only one I can really say.
Yeah.
No, let me see your war face.
Yeah, let me see your war face.
That would definitely be a one.
One of my favorites from Revenge of the Nerds. There are several. Again, most of them we can't say, but one of my favorites. I'll need a bleep here if I can get it. So, They're playing cards. They've been kicked out of their dorm.
Right.
And they're
in the gym.
They moved to the gym,
Yeah.
and Booger and who's the character?
Takashi.
Booger and Takashi are playing cards, and Takashi says he has a frush.
A frush.
And Booger then says, "What the
Bleep
is a frush?" It's just a great
Also
line.
a word starting with an F.
Yes.
And oh gosh, which another great Booger quote. We talked about this one before we started recording. I got permission to use this, but I still think the funniest quote from the movie is when Stan Gable and Betty Childs are on his motorcycle, looking as dapper as they are, and Booger is standing in the front yard, and he's looking at them quizzically, and Stan Gable goes, "What are you looking at, nerd?" And he replies with, "Well, I thought it was my mother's old douchebag, but I realized that's back in Ohio." Nerds. Oh, it makes me laugh.
Another topic, movies that can never be remade today.
Oh, my.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen Revenge of the Nerds,
Look it up.
yes,
It's
great
funny.
movie.
It's enough to make you clap your hands.
Clap your hands, everybody.
Everybody clap your hands.
Or lambda, 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 and Omega Mu.
Oh, man. Definitely a great movie. Check it out.
What are some, and you brought this up with the topic, but what do you think some just very short topic or quotes are that, again, because we brought up some pretty abstract. I mean, Super Troopers, that's a certain
Dazed and
demographic.
Confused. It's
Dazed
kinda
and Confused.
niche-y.
Yeah, a little bit niche-y. What are some movie quotes that you think everyone pretty much would know what movie you're talking about if you say it?
Crying in baseball.
That would be a good one. There's no crying in baseball from
yeah.
League of Their Own, right?
Right.
I don't know if this is niche enough, but Todd, and I wish we were live casting this, I would like you to watch Eric's face when I say this. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Vietnam!
I actually do that in my classroom.
Yeah.
I don't say Vietnam, but I'll,
Every morning.
Yeah, not every morning. A lot of mornings.
5 times.
Good morning, boys and girls. That's what I usually say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. We just had a little bit of overkill back in the day.
Yeah.
Somebody liked the movie a little bit too much and would say it every 3
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like which we've done this before, but when the Budweiser, what up? Everybody pretty much for months.
Yeah.
Did that. What's that?
I think that there's no place like home. Most people know that when you say that, you're talking about The Wizard of Oz. I think
Right.
that's one that's pretty, which also is a theme of that movie.
Another classic reference. Frankly, my dear, I don't
Yes.
give a damn.
Yes. Todd, I'll let you bring in the one from Star Wars. Don't you remember?
Oh, may the Force be with
Yeah.
you. Yes, may the
Yeah.
Force be with you. There's probably more for Star Wars, but definitely may the Force. I'm the king of the world. You got
Right.
Leo on the ship, Titanic.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
Ah,
Right.
yes.
Right.
Very much. We could go on and on.
I'll be back.
I'll
be
be
back.
back.
There you go.
You got to say it with the accent to sell it. Oh, geez. I feel like there's so many we could just probably sit around here and spout off movie quotes for decades almost.
If you build it, he will come. Aric, speaking of which, that probably means nothing to you.
Well, it does. I mean, I know where it's from. I've just not watched the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm, geez, what's a... Aric, it seems like we're really leaving out some, because there it seemed like there was some...
Phone home.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Hasta la vista, baby. Speaking of Terminator.
Yeah. Right. Well,
Yep.
phone home was E.T.
Yeah. Before,
Yeah.
a couple
right.
before that, we said.
Die Hard, yippee-ki-yay, fornicator of mothers. That one.
In lieu of a bleep.
In lieu of a bleep, matriarchal fornicators.
Heed!
Pants!
We have the paper down.
How in the
world
world did
that
we
is-
get this far and not go into that? So, background on this movie, because a lot of people really haven't seen it, but it's Shrek before Shrek, essentially, that particular character. And we're
Yes.
talking about So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Which is a comedy, not a horror movie.
Right. Mike Myers actually plays two different parts in the movie. he plays his own father, which, like I said, is Shrek before Shrek.
He immigrated from Scotland, so he legit had the Scottish accent.
Which, again, none of us are great at doing a Scottish accent, but doesn't keep us from not trying, or keeps us from trying.
I believe that movie is the hardest I've ever laughed in a movie theater.
Oh, wow.
Which scenes in particular?
Just whenever the dad came. I mean,
Harriet, sweet Harriet, hard-hearted harbinger of haggis. So know ing, so trust ing, so love Ed.
Evil, like the fruits of the devil. So for the next 6 minutes, can we just quote this movie?
We've got the piper down. We've got the piper down.
Turn up the bass of the rollers. And he does he's playing the solo.
He's playing the bagpipes, of course.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
If you love my body and you think I'm sexy.
Oh, baby, let me know.
Well, I didn't even realize that I quoted this movie. Whenever you order a drink and it's way too big, like it's just oversized, laughingly big, and you say, "Oh, excuse me, I think I ordered the large."
Yes.
Because it's so ridiculous.
Matter of fact, didn't I say that about the fish sandwich? I think at Butterbee's.
I did.
I think I did. I said, "Excuse me,
you did.
You're gonna have to take this back. I ordered the large fish sandwich."
Hello.
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 Oh man. You'll have to forgive us. I'm aching right now.
See that movie if you haven't. I mean, again, you'll see a lot of pre-Shrek where he's creating the character. I believe in that character of his father.
The prison trip with who was the actor?
Anthony LaPaglia from.
No, it was the guy from Saturday Night Live.
Oh no, Hartman.
Phil Hartman.
Phil Hartman.
Are you talking about Vicky?
Vicky.
I will never. Go ahead. Yeah. To edit it, I will just never be able to hear the two words ocular cavities.
Yeah. Was it sockets?
Or sockets, yeah.
Took turns pissing his ocular sockets.
I thought it was cavity.
Yeah.
It might be.
Oh, wow. What a movie. Now I'm going to have to fire that up.
I don't know if you can find it streaming anywhere or not.
I own the DVD if you guys want to watch
I
it.
think I do too.
Yeah. Sorry for geeking out.
Yeah, we kind
That's
of
one of our favorites.
way off on a tangent there.
Hey, I just thought about this one. It's one of the Dumb and Dumber quotes. They were flocking like the salmon of Capistrano instead of the swallows.
I use this one quite. So you're saying there's a chance? I can't remember everything, but basically he's asking her if there's any chance of
that they get together.
They get together, yeah.
And he says, "What? Like 1 in 1,000?
One in a million.
More like 1 in a million."
So
you're saying there's a chance?
Or when they drop them off on the bus, they have the bus full of models, supermodels, and they drop them off, and then I forget what happens. They go and they chase down the bus and like.
No.
Something about...
You're in luck. There's a town 3 miles back.
Yeah. Or where the...
he must work out.
He must work out. Oh. Yeah, I would...
Again, the Jim Carrey connection with the...
Right.
Pet Detective and...
Where the beer flows like wine. I want to go someplace. I want to go to Aspen where the beer flows like wine.
What's the soup du jour? It's the soup of the day. That sounds good. I'll have that.
Kick his A, Seabass. I
Want to hear the most annoying sound ever?
Oh, well, I would
pull over. It's a cardigan. Remember that one?
I wonder how many listeners we've lost in just the last 5 minutes. We could keep on going.
Either they're laughing with us or they've long gone.
Hey, we're staying on topic.
Yeah,
hey, we are.
It doesn't happen.
That's good for us. Now that's the kind of humor, and I'll venture off into TV a little bit just shortly. And I think this is a topic for another day in the big scheme. But those shows that you didn't really appreciate when you were young, but now when you're older. MASH always had those kind of comments. Yeah, Todd made a face. He still doesn't appreciate
MASH
it.
Still makes my stomach churn.
And I'll give you a for instance. I don't know why this stick in my head, but Hawkeye goes to one of the tents of the nurses and has shampoo, and she says, "Well, you brought me shampoo." He says, "Well, I didn't think you wanted me to bring real poo."
Nice.
Nicely played. Yes, that is funny. I don't recall that one.
Maybe I should give MASH another chance.
You should give MASH another chance.
I just remember that when that music started. Yes.
Man, we've done a lot of singing in this, haven't we?
Ting.
I had one more. Speaking of back to the Dumb and Dumber, mock.
Ing.
Yeah. Ing.
Yeah.
Bird.
Yeah. Mockingbird.
Have you heard?
He's gonna buy.
He's gonna
you
buy.
A mockingbird. then when they pick up the folks from Mexico, the mock ing c. Oh wow!
I'm sure there's some along that same line of movies. Probably some Hot Shots or Naked Gun quotes too. I can't. Don't call me Shirley.
The airplane.
Shirley, you can't be serious.
Yes, I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Can I be frank with you?
Oh, time is up.
Oh my!
Because it was getting really difficult to not go into beyond PG-13 territory.
Yes. We apologize for anybody if we went too far.
Still crack up the walleye vision on Hot Shots.
A movie that really doesn't stand the test of time for the most part, but
Yeah.
that is funny.
That is funny.
Well, so those are our 3 topics for episode 5. Hope you enjoyed them. Hopefully our singing didn't drive you away, and stick with us. And again, thought-provoking humor, that's our goal, or thought-provoking in general, I guess. But again, thanks for joining us. And
may I remind everybody, hey, could you please check us out? Check out our Facebook page. Leave us comments. Leave us ideas. We want to hear that we're making you happy. We're wanting to hear what part of it is making you happy. What do you want to hear more of? What do you want to hear less of? Let us know.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we, hope to accomplish with this is that it's interactive with our listeners, that they give us feedback, they, comment on some of the topics. We've asked a few times for your, any, maybe this time a quote or something from a movie you would like. Share those with us so we can revisit if we need to.
And plus, if you want to see Brady's rhinoceros picture, you have to go to the Facebook page.
Yes.
Because he is going to share.
I am. Right as soon as we stop recording, I'll do it right now.
All right. So with that, again, follow us on Facebook. Search us out, Play It By Ear Podcast. On Twitter, at playitbyearpod 2. Also, anchor.fm/Play It By Ear Podcast. Again, our outlets are growing. iHeartRadio now has our podcast. Google Podcast, Spotify, among others. So most anywhere you can get a podcast, you can probably find us. So we invite you to join us next time on the Play It By Ear Podcast.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Play It By Ear podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter at playitbyearpod2, and our website at anchor.fm/Play It By Ear podcast. Thanks again, and join us next time as we play it by ear.